Greetings, fellow Demon Slayers. Mari and Tak here with today's video. So, for those who don't know, we're going to show you the clip from Mimi's video. And just kind of read through it. It is muted, so I'm not trying to talk over her. But basically, they're releasing a questionnaire to the community, and they're actually going to be... what did they say, Tak? Like, business and development devs? But they're
Yeah,
doing
like they're
this
gonna
again,
look
this
for.
Mimi Answers thing, where she answers questions, but I mean, last time she just dodged the fuck out of all the real questions. If I don't know, people remember. But she says here, with more force than before, yeah, they're having two special guests from the Department of Business and Development of Grimmery Games. So we'll be able to ask people who have some sort of say questions. And yeah, it's the collection box is going to be in a Google form where you can send the questions. Oh wait, what was that? Should probably read that. Greetings, Commanders. Mimi Answers is back, but with more force than before. This time, Mimi has two special guests from Business and Development of Grimmery Games to answer your questions directly. We hope you grab this golden opportunity and send us lots of interesting questions. By filling out the form, you give consent to your nickname and question appearing in the next Mimi Answers episode on the official YouTube channel of Global Ass Taimanin. Hey, and we hope you grab this golden opportunity. And yeah, that's it for the video, okay. So yeah, for people who didn't know, I'm showing you this because when I mentioned the acrylic stand contest on my server, a lot of people didn't even know it happened. So yeah, this is a thing. All you have to do is come down into the description. The description is generally hidden, so you just click show more. And then the form is right here. You can go and put your questions in here. And you can do this until the 17th of November. So, the whole point of this video is that Tak and I are going to go over some questions that Professor JC came up with. He shared them with me in Discord. I dropped them in a notepad so you guys aren't reading our DMs. But he did come up with 10 really good questions that I think people should go and actually put in that form so we can have a nice influx of them and hopefully get them answered. So, you still there, Tak? You're good?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, so we're just going to go over each question, kind of talk about it, not spend a whole lot of time, and that'll be the video. But yeah, Professor JC said, by the way, Mari, they just released a Q&A, and I was thinking maybe you could ask your community to ask similar questions so that we get some kind of answer to our doubts. I made these questions just as a draft of oh god, why am I stuttering? Of what might be of interest to the community. I feel like I'm having a stroke. I'm like slurring.
You're literally like me anytime I get frozen.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh. Oh, with how stressed I am. Anyway, okay. Question number one. Are the devs planning to implement more supports with a second passive ability, which give an extra benefit to certain types of characters? And he puts in parentheses, protect, suppress, and assist. Like armored Shinganji Kurenai. Or are they planning to make supports which are only meant to be used by certain type of characters like Momochi Nagi or Omine Nana? So we'll just look at that question first. I think this is a good question because they are really starting to put out supports who oh, this works with a suppress type character, or this works with a protection character. And I do wonder too, is that where the meta's going? Are they doing a power creep shift into actually specking into your character's color from now on? I
Yeah, cause the only thing we're missing now is a character that's has a restriction for assist. We already have a suppress. We already have a protect. Two of them now technically with Koronai and
Nana.
Nana, but Koronai's is red, but she can still be used for protector characters, the main slot. Um, yeah, it's going to be they obviously introduced the type of what characters they are and the typings. The typings were already there, but the typing of what color the character is there was a reason they added it, and I think it's because of the supporters. Because now I'm starting to see them doing this now, which yeah, they're probably they're starting to do these new supporters with they have these restrictions, but I don't really mind the restrictions that much, to be honest. It's like almost like the type of characters can use certain supporters. I don't really mind it too much, but it is a good question because there are obviously players that are going to be concerned about like, are there going to be more of these from now on, and they're not going to make any more like, oh, this character increases all damage and it doesn't have the restriction. So I can understand why he wanted to put this question here.
Yeah, the thing with it is that I don't know, because some old supports like Kitty Mom, Kaoru, for some examples, and we have like Homura, and Lydia's newer, but like they just give so much like unconditional damage. These color based supports are really gonna have to like bring it, because if they're gonna be restricted to a certain character type, they're gonna have to be outdoing those supporters, or there really won't be any value in them because people are just going to wear their freaking kid or their kitty mom or their Kaoru. Like they're just going to wear the already OP green supporters or the already OP red. They're not really going to seek out the new supporters if they're niche. Like, you know what I mean? If you're going to start
Yeah,
restricting it to a certain color, you need to really make that color like, show it. I kind of mind the system a little bit because my main is freaking blue, so I'm scared I'm just going to get bogged down with shitty blue supports for her. And then I'll
yeah,
probably
I
just
could
keep her green
really
if that's
see.
the case.
Yeah, I think that because like we already saw how they executed with three of them they have done. Two of them I think they're good, and the other one was a complete failure. I
Yeah,
would
and
say
that's
so.
the blue
It's a
one.
yeah, and that's the free to play one basically. So it's like
Yeah,
I really hope they don't give us like shitty like sub support passes for free to play event supporters because it makes it much more restrictor and it's like makes it much more of a niche supporter to use, which is very hard to use.
exactly. All right, we'll move on from that question. But yeah, that's a good one. Like all of these questions are great, by the way. So thanks to Professor JC for coming up with a list. Because I actually wanted to talk about this, and then he hit me with like a nice list, and he says it's a draft, but like shit, man, like these questions are so good, I'm just going with it. Like this is a final draft as far as I'm concerned. Because he asked a lot of stuff I would want to ask myself. So, question two. Will you be making more questionnaires to ask for suggestions from the player base? That's a good question because this, as we all know, Grimmery sucks at communication. They have gotten better, like a little bit better, not much better. But without leaks and stuff, we still have no idea what's coming, and we're kind of like getting information week to week at this point, unless
Yeah, like
are privy to the leaks. So yeah, I would love to be able to ask them more questions and get more like feedback.
yeah, because I would say this much right now, Grimory like they did hear the call about the community saying that green at the beginning green supporters were shit, and then now they all of a sudden like they delivered that. But like in terms of like community, like they have been posting more frequently on their social medias, which is that's very good they're doing that because before it was like 2 or 3 weeks before we even heard anything about them. Which like they're doing small good steps, but I think they still need a lot more to improve. I would say.
Oh yeah, it is. It's like literal baby steps. But like they're nowhere near as bad as they were this time last year. Like last year they were a fucking ghost. Like we heard
Literally,
nothing. Like
it was
like
literally only like
so
character release and then that's it.
yeah, like as of right now they have gotten better. But yeah, I love, I love for people who watch this video to just propose any of one of these questions. Like they're all good questions. So number 3, this is a big one. Will the Golden Pass be released on a specific date from now on? Basically, will it be a monthly thing? Is I think what he's getting at. And yeah, that's a great question because the Golden Pass is something that helps everyone. And I mean, I know they usually tie a skin to it, but even if they don't like have a new skin to put out, they could always just throw an old skin in the damn Golden Pass. Like I'm sure people would still buy it.
Honestly, I was gonna say if they don't have a new outfit for like just throw the chat ticket there. You don't even have to do anything. Just throw the chat ticket there, and like oh this chat ticket will be coming all the exclusive Golden Pass skins that were basically gone for like for example the Emily mummy skin, the reindeer uh, Yuki skin. It's like you can get any of those,
Yeah, that's a
or
really
you
good idea actually, because like
or like or like limited outfits too, like ones you can't get anymore. You don't have to put the mileage outfits in there. You just need to just put outfits that are no longer available, I would
Yeah,
say.
like the cherry blossom outfits and like the Oni skins, shit like that. That would be good because it would get outfits back in circulation. And I mean, it's the golden pass. Like they would get so much goodwill from the free to play players just for having the golden pass there monthly. Because even though like free to play players don't buy it, you're giving them free ultra rares for running through that first row. And you know, people like appreciate that. Especially in a game where our gems are such a like limited resource where for free to play players some months it's literally I've got to choose between getting my character a skin or pulling gacha. Like you can definitely not do all three. In some cases you can't even do two of those things. So having a way for people to
Yeah,
get tickets like just on a monthly like, you know, rotation that isn't paid would just get them so much goodwill and would help keep a lot of players. Because if
it all.
people, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna finish. People, if people are like looking forward to the golden pass every month, you just retained a player because he knows he's gonna get an ultra rare every month. He or she is gonna stick around for that freaking ultra rare ticket.
Yeah. What I was also gonna say, this also tends like it makes some free to play planners to spend money on the game, which is like that's what they want to do. They want to get players to spend money, and it's like for the price of the for this for the golden pass alone, it's worth it. I would say it's one of those things. I would say if you want the golden pass, get it. It's worth it. I would say.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the things that like I was like when I started the game, I was not bothered by it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll buy the golden pass. That seems nice. Okay, so we'll move on from that. But yeah, the golden pass definitely should become a common like monthly thing. Question number 4. Will you provide a trial mode where we can put equipment on the character to see how much damage they deal? This we freaking need, man. Like, we need some sort of try before you buy that lets us practice the character in some sort of stock gear, because the training mode just doesn't cut it. We can't even see their damage numbers. So yeah,
Yeah,
I totally agree with this question. People need to ask this. Like,
this is literally your idea, Mari. This is the idea that you wanted to a trial and error type of. This is literally like literally if you go back to any of the videos that he mentions this or whatever the update basically that Mimi and the other girl basically discuss about like how do you like try characters before. This is literally the the version that you want to get a trial and error for a character. Like you could try on supports, try them out, see how they are in build, swap skills and everything like that, and you can see the damage, and then you can that. Yeah, this is literally like what you want, Mario. This is like something you actually would want to see.
and all it has to be is just a training dummy. Like, it doesn't even need to be like a moving enemy or a whole stage. Like, if it was just a stage we could go to that doesn't give rewards, but it lets us go to the character screen and gear the character, even though we don't have them, and just throw, like, test out stuff on them, and then bring them in there and just let them hit the dummy and see what kind of damage they do. Like, I'd be happy with that, because I'll be like, oh yeah, like, if I went into there and just, like, tested, say, like, I don't know, Obro, because we just watched a bunch of Obro footage yesterday, and she freaking, you know, hits for like 400k, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll pick up Obro. Like, you know, it gives people an idea of what they're getting, and the other mode just doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's just like you're just like, oh, you're just gonna test how their moves feel, and for some people, it's like I want to see the damage. I want to see what like for example, a full red skill, this full red skill, full blue or green. I want to see how much damage is gonna output with these supporters, like something like that. I would say.
Yeah, so we'll move on from that. I'm trying not to dwell on them for too long. So number 5. How does damage reduction work? It doesn't seem to be a flat reduction. Now I'm going to tell you guys this. When we made Tanky Kirara and we were playtesting her, we actually stacked 100% damage reduction on her and she was still getting her face kicked in on bonus 3. So 100% damage reduction obviously isn't flat. It doesn't translate to you take 0 damage. The enemies were hitting softer, but not soft enough where she could tank the whole map. She needed sustain of some sort. So that's how we ended up with a, you know, huge HP pool and having regen on the character to go in conjunction with the damage reduction. Because, like, for me personally, like, I only really go for, like, when I'm building tanky, maybe, like, 30-40% damage reduction. And then the rest just goes to, like, regen and, like, sustain. making the sustain engine with Genryu and stacking HP magas. So that is a good question. Like, how is damage reduction working? Because in most games I play, if you have something that says 30% damage reduction, you legit have 30% damage reduction.
Yeah, this is something that like it's very vague. Like we need to know how like how much does it work? Like how much damage reduction you're actually getting. Like 40% is like okay, people are saying okay, this gives you 40%. But it doesn't feel like it. When I was watching you doing that tank build, it's just like it doesn't feel like you have 100% damage reduction. It feels like you have you're like you're about to hit it, but you're not there yet. You're not at the ceiling yet, which is very weird.
Yeah, I almost think that how I think the damage reduction is calculated is it says 30% damage reduction, for example, but what that actually does is it just gives you 30% more defense stat. It doesn't actually flat give damage reduction. But I'd love to see them answer it because, again, without a stat sheet, no one in the community has any fucking earthly clue how half of the stats work in the game. Like people
Yeah,
are
especially
still debating, what the ratio of crit rate is, like how much crit rate stat is 1%. So like
yeah.
like a stat sheet would also be nice. Like I'll just throw that in there as a freebie question if anyone wants to ask. Will you guys ever implement a real stat sheet that shows us what the fuck is going on our characters? Because I'd love to know my crit rate. I'd love to know my damage reduction. I'd love to know, like just statistics like that. My critical damage, my attack speed, my cooldown reduction. We need an in-depth stat sheet so we can min-max properly. Because we're
Because
just
like
kind of
obviously
stacking stuff and guessing at this point. Sorry,
yeah,
Tech.
because obviously casuals are not gonna they're not gonna understand none of this. Like people who are gonna first start playing the game, they're not gonna understand this. So it would be helpful to to clarify like how does the damage reduction or how much crit rates, how many like crit number of the Namatagas is giving you as a percentage, basically converted into that.
Exactly. Okay. So moving on from that, we have question 6. Are there plans to implement a boss rush mode or difficult content which can be replayed? And we get some kind of rewards from it on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So I love this question because that's another big problem in the game right now is you can't replay your bonus stages, and once you beat Tower, you can't replay that. And yeah, there's new content coming for Tower from what I'm hearing, but
It takes
once we all
forever to
clear
unlock
it, it's
though.
going to be like another 6, 7 months before we probably see more Tower. So I'd love for them to add some sort of like boss rush mode, or even they could even get real nice with it and be like, yo, let's make like a super boss that like we could have like 2 to 3 players fight it, and you could actually play with your friend and co-op against the boss, because that's how Honkai does their little like boss fights. Like they have like triple S bounties you could do, and you get together with you and 2 other friends and you fight like the super boss, and you beat the shit out of it, and it's like quick because it's 3 characters, but the boss is scaled enough that it can one shot people or whatever, and it's a nice little fight, and you can res each other or what have you. Like that'd be cool, and it'd be neat if those gave like some sort of material or reward, like you said, like even if it's like another 50 to 100 gems a week, just some small reward, like oh, you beat your weekly boss, here's another 50 gems. And then after that, you can still replay it even though you got the gems, just to help friends get through it or just for fun. Like, that would be neat.
Yeah, I
Maybe I'm
think
asking for too much wanting multiplayer, but like, we have a friends list, but it's useless. All we could do is fight them in arena, and no one cares about arena.
honestly, I would say you could probably you can actually put like some kind of like a guild or a clan into like the if you're gonna do something like a raid boss. So it's like, oh, you can have like 10 people in this guild you have, and like, oh, and you could basically, oh, each player can put up to 3 characters in their slot, and then you could do this boss rush basically with those members in your guild or your party, and basically, and like once you complete done with the rush, everyone gets the rewards. Everyone gets the even amount of rewards. It's like as long as they put like the requirements and everything like that, then yeah, I could definitely see this being like, oh, this could be a monthly thing. Like, oh, this rewards players for like playing the game daily instead of like, oh, slacking off. Oh, you join day one, but you slack off. It makes more. It encourages players to stick to the game basically.
Yeah, because even if I wouldn't care if it's like weekly or monthly or daily, but as long as you can replay it, it won't matter because it's a way you could play with your friends. Like that's a way you could test builds right there, and make it so it doesn't cost any stamina. It's just something you can do. I'm sure people would love that.
Yeah, because like right now, like towers, like it's almost been like almost like how long since we had the like since we're gonna get these new floors? Like almost like months.
I heard the. Oh, how long has it been? We had
Yeah,
the first tower in May, so it's been about 6 months.
yeah. So it's like it's like if they're gonna be like every like 6 to 7 months add more tower, it's like yeah you need like some sort of like there's like this huge gap for hard contact. So it's like I could definitely see doing this. It's just like if they're willing to do it though.
Yeah, definitely a good question. Okay. Question 7. Will more YouTubers get more participation in the future? For example, by showcasing upcoming characters. I wish this is something they did because a lot of gotcha games I've come from, they like YouTubers get, access to the beta server. Not just YouTubers, like other members in the community too. And it's just a good way to showcase stuff before it comes out and allows the community to, like I said, give input on what needs to be buffed or changed before the character ever is out in the wild where everyone's playing it. Right now it feels like in AT they just release a character and we're beta testing it the day it comes out. And that's terrible. Like they should definitely like let YouTubers showcase upcoming characters because one, like it's useful because we can see if the character's dog shit or not, which they generally are, and two, it fosters hype. Like, and
Yeah,
the
I just
community gets real like the hype is so low, like because like we'll hear about stuff that's coming and like people get leaks, but it's like there hasn't been any hype like the waifu war. And when the waifu war was happening, there was so many leaks that we were like sharing, and then frickin' Grimry decided to content ID for everyone for sharing the leaks. Or at least they content ID'd me. I don't know if they content ID'd Tweedledum and Tweedledee. But like frickin' I got content ID'd, so therefore I don't share leaks anymore. Like I'll verbally talk about them, but I'll never show proof because I don't want to get, ID'd and shit on again, because that can get your channel shut down. But the point I'm getting at is, at that point in the game's life, there was so much hype. Like, it was crazy. Like, my server was active as hell. Like, it's still active, but then it was just like I'd log on and there'd be like 2,000 comments, and I'd be like, I can't moderate all of this. But that's good because the community was like thriving. And then after the Kirara and Ingrid came out, there were such fucking letdowns. Like, the game just pretty much like got silent like a mouse fart again. And it was just like, damn,
yeah.
like what happened?
Like it would be nice to see like oh like instead of like seeing Mimi showcasing them, let someone else who actually plays the game like you Mari to like oh like so you could just like you could like since you're gonna have so much free time using this character, you'll be able to understand if the character is good or bad or rare or like or it's like broken or underwhelming and when you it's just that the thing is though I would probably say I don't expect them if you do give them this question they either gonna
Oh, they'll probably just
dodge it
ignore it, yeah.
yeah or yeah they're probably gonna just dodge it or they're just gonna give you like some like weird answer because I would say this though right now this would be nice for them but I don't think this is gonna happen because I play another like gotcha game that like has a huge community of like a bunch of YouTubers and such like Dokkan, but they don't acknowledge the YouTubers in that community like they don't.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That's the thing, like, I come from, like, Honkai, where in the Genshin, they don't act like the YouTubers don't exist, they do acknowledge them. But you're right, because when I played Valkyrie Crusade, they didn't give a fuck about the YouTubers. They were just, like,
Yeah,
make money. But, so I get it, like, I don't really give a fuck if they acknowledge me or not, personally. It's a good question, but Tak is right. I agree with him. I think they just dodged the question and they don't want to have anything to do with us. I think they're just doing their own thing. So, it is what it is for that question. It's still a good question though. Like I'm not shitting on the question itself. I just don't think that Grimmery will acknowledge it. Is all. Um. So yeah, number 8. Will we be able to replay tower levels even if we don't receive the rewards anymore? This is a big one.
Mm-hmm. This is like for more like testing builds. This is like, oh, I want to test some people want to test out playing a certain character that it's not Asagi or Murasaki, and they want to beat like, oh, I don't know, Tempest or the Christmas tree boss without using those characters. I would actually appreciate if they do that, because this actually gives more players like Ultra, you, me, other players that actually are hardcore into the game, more to like test, more like testing grounds for our characters, see if these builds work or not, basically.
Yeah, I agree. That's really all I want to say about that too, because like you just said everything I wanted to say, basically. Like we need a testing ground, like where it's like, oh, how does this build work in a tower setting? How does this build? Because we can't replay bonus, we can't replay tower. So every event, like if we want to practice builds, we're stuck holding our bonus stage for 2 weeks, making mad videos out of it, just because it's the only like hard content there is to do. And it would be nice if we just had access to the tower floors so we could go, oh, how does this work against those Taimanin in tower? Let's find out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much, this is like a very easy question, I would say. It's, yeah, this is like they should actually just, even if they don't give you the rewards anymore, it's still like more gameplay for you, basically, you can have.
Yeah, because tower didn't cost any stamina, so it's literally something you could do that doesn't cost stamina. That's challenging, that people will probably play just, and put footage up because it's playtesting. It's a playtesting area where you could see the limits of your character against the hardest content. But, I mean, I don't see them dodging this question, but it would probably just be a yes or no answer, and the answer probably will be no. But, it's a good question nonetheless. It's just obvious they're not interested in resetting that tower. Like, once you clear it, you are locked the fuck out.
Until they add more floors.
Exactly. So, number 9. Will characters which are not performing in an optimal way be fixed for balancing purposes before their limited skin packs release? This is a good one because we have this issue right now where when a character sucks dick, they just suck dick until they get their limited pack. And now Rinko's in a situation where she kind of sucks dick, and her
Yeah,
limited pack already happened. So is she ever going to see a buff again?
yeah, this is one of those issues I would say, like, they do have to answer this one. It's like they're not, they don't have to, but this is like a very good question, because this actually just like it shows that like characters like I would say like Renko is one of those characters that is in a really awkward situation. Is that she already has her limited gear, she already has her supporter, but like there's no, like, she needs more help. Like she already has her limited gear. She should be like, if anything, like the same realm as Koronite, but she isn't though. So it's like she's like in a very awkward spot right now, which is like she's okay now. She's not great anymore. She's fallen from grace. So it's like, and you saw how Koronite, she was already a good character, and now she's like already at the top of the food chain. So it's
Yeah,
like,
she's pretty godly in her new gear.
yeah, and then like like what we said about the video yesterday, Obro is literally the next character. Obro can only go up from here. Are they gonna push her like 2 or 3 points ahead, or she's gonna be matching Korona? It's like that's like the real question I would say about this.
I agree, but it's like it sucks that we have to wait. Like if a character needs balancing, like I don't know, man. If it were me and I were running a gotcha game or any sort of game where there was character balancing issues, I would acknowledge the issues. Like, because letting the characters sit for a fucking year and just be bad, it's like it just like people leave the game over that shit. You know how many
Yeah,
Obro mains probably just quit? They're like, "Oh, screw this. My character sucks. I'm out." Like my friend
imagine.
Greg, he's a mod on the freaking Discord server. He literally doesn't play this anymore because Obro came out and she sucked. And he was like, "Well, that's my waifu, so screw that game." He's like, "If I want Obro,
Yeah,
I'll go fap to her."
well,
No,
yeah, yeah. It's basically like it's just that it makes like, oh, like right now, like the Obro and Renko mains are like right now, and then probably Tokiko are like, they're
yeah,
probably like they're all like bitching and complaining how their character just like sucks, and it's just like, and then the people see like, look at all these guys with like their Asagi, Murasaki, Yuki Kaze. It's look, how's that balance? And
And
like, look
there's
at my
smelly
character.
Shiranui. Don't forget Miss Greasy, because she's good now.
I just posted those three characters for an example,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just like yeah, it's like
Yeah,
what happens after
basically
the
fucking Yugasagi Mora. Was it like Yuki? It's like Yukisagi Mora Nui. They're like they're just all like the fucking powerful characters. Just like make an acronym with like all their names mixed together. But like I don't
yeah
know. Like Ark started
yeah.
calling the good characters the Power Five.
Are there Power Five or there's like more
Because
though?
there's five of them. There's like it's Nui, it's Asagi, it's Yuki, it's freaking Morisaki, and then it's Sakura. He calls them the Power Five. I guess now
I
would be
think
the Power Six because Koronai's pretty up there, but she
Coronai.
needs her limited gear. But yeah, if we
Hmm.
ignore Koronai, yeah, it's basically like he's just like yeah, they're just the Power Five now, which is like the lamest superhero group name, but whatever. That's what we're gonna call them. Art coined that, and that's what we're sticking with, the Power Five. But yeah, like a, it shouldn't be this like much arm pulling to try to get a character buff. Like people complain about how bad characters are. Like I know they see the feedback, and there's no reason why the characters should just remain bad for like a year to a year plus while we wait for their limited pack. And then if the limited pack is a fucking whole dub and a failure, then you're just stuck with a shitty character forever. Like that's retarded. No, they need to actually balance their damn game. Like at least for PvE, because PvP's a lost cause thanks to Emily and Coronai. Like you either run them in something or you don't play.
Yeah, I'll say that much.
And this is the final question. And this is another one. Will there be collab events or guest artists? Please? Like other Taimanin games had Super Sonico, freaking they did a Magikami collab with Taba. Frick, like oh my god, I would love collaborations with other games. Like Prison
Or like
Battleship
other
characters, like even other games within their own company would be cool. Like I would
like it,
love Anna Rose.
didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you want Anna Rose as well? I know people want her too in
Yeah,
these
dude,
games.
that's like freaking Kagami's characters. It's more Kagami art. Like, I would love to see Anna Rose playable, and it would be like a nice throw for a loop. Like, oh, this isn't an actual Taimanin character. Let's go. But it would be nice to see them like do collabs where they add playable characters from franchises they don't also own, like the Super Sonico collab. Imagine how cute Super Sonico would be in AT.
Oh, dude, a
God,
model of her
oh,
with
her model would
with
be
her time
so thick, dude. Sonico's a little bit chunky. I like her body.
Yeah, I think like doing collabs, like obviously like with like some of like I know for a fact like a Dragalia Laws had a Persona collab, and like Dokkan has the Dragon Ball Heroes collab. Like honestly, it's like it brings people who never really cared about like these gacha games and kind of it brings more eyes to them. So I like adding like those like the characters you said, Mari. It brings it brings attention to the game. That I think it gets more people more psyched into it, and then for longer players, it's like, oh boy, like now people will like want to know what the origin of these characters are from. So it's like, it's not a really bad idea, honestly.
It's not, and it really does. Like, because Honkai was like notorious for never doing collabs, but then they just came out with the big dick and were like, oh yeah, Asuka from freaking Evangelion collab. That shit brought so many players into the game. Because it's freaking Asuka from Evangelion. Like, of course she's gonna pull people in. And if they could get like a character, like I don't know what the financial situation in Grimmery is, but the game, for being honest, is a little bit low budget. Like it's not, a super triple A. It's more. It feels really more indie. But like, if they could just get any nice collab, like I know they have the money because they've collabed with Super Sonico before and Magikami. Like hell, if they brought like a Magikami character over to AT, like or like Akka or something or Sierra, like people from those games would be like, yo, I could play Sierra in an action game. Oh my god, like shit, like if they bring over Magikami waifus, I'd be all in on that purchase. Like any
It
game,
it
like.
it brings hype as well as to the game too if they do an event for them specifically around the characters as well.
And one thing it shows without a doubt is that they're invested in the game. Cause see, right now with AT, like we've looked at the metrics. They do make money. There's obviously enough whales using Visa Kun that they're staying afloat and they're making a profit. Otherwise, the game would have been shut down. But like, it's still always this air of uncertainty with like a lower end gacha game like AT because it's not like a big deal like Genshin or Honkai or FGO like the bigger gachas. It's a gacha that exists, but it's not super famous. It's kind of like just quiet, sitting there on the park bench, and people think it's going to shoot up the school. So with that being said, like having collab events shows players that the game is alive. Like it shows them, okay, there's no danger of this game shutting down because they're putting investment into this game by adding a freaking guest character. That means they're in it for the long haul. They want us to keep playing this. Because right now, like I still worry AT is gonna shut down. I don't know about you, Tech, but like sometimes I'm like, like I don't know. It's always up in the air. Like they could cut and run at any time because they
Yeah,
haven't
it's
really
just like
showed me that they're super committed to the game. Like especially with all the nice stuff that RPGX gets. Like it's obvious that that's their main focus.
yeah, I generally like I'm still on the like right now it's probably an okay state, but I'm still like worried that the game will shut down because like eventually like the hype characters that it's getting lower and lower at this point now
Dude, it
because like
is.
because like Ingrid was the one I know for a fact people were like really fucking hype about. She's already on and she was a disappointment. And then like the next character and then the next character it was Tokiko and again a disappointment and the hype for it was there, but then she was a fat disappointment and people just don't play the game anymore. And it's just like, oh, you basically ruined the interest for these players. And then now that whispers around like fucking Shizuru is around the corner now, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
and that's another
eh,
hype one because people like freaking ass booty mom, booty and
yeah,
boobies.
yeah, the fucking teacher, and I'm like, yeah, I can
Oh,
definitely
she's
see
so
fucking
hot.
like people are gonna be hyped for her. But if they don't deliver, it's gonna fucking again, it's gonna do a ramification basically again. If she's a disappointment, guess what? The people who were playing all this time for Shizuru, they're either just gonna continue playing the game knowing that the character is bad, or they're just going to stop playing, which is not what Grimmery wants to see them do.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like Chizuru's really got to be good with how bad Tokiko is. Like she's gotta, and I feel like Chizuru's gonna suck ass too. We'll tell in time. Obviously, that's something down the road a little bit. But yeah, like you're right. They're running out of hype things to release. Like they could release Anna Rose, that'd bring hype, but they've yet to do any collabs or acknowledge when people ask about it. So Anna Rose is kind of one of those things that could never happen because it's a collab. Same thing with like any collab character like Supersonic or Prison Battleship, they just may never happen. But like looking at characters they have left in the Taimanin pool, like now we're getting into the kind of like I'm not gonna say unpopular characters, but the really big ticket characters are in the game. Like Nui was a big deal. Freaking Shizuru, I know a lot of people like her. I don't even know if I consider her a big deal. Like I know like Japan freaking adores Kirara. Like I love Kirara too, but like generally global doesn't seem to like her as much as Japan. So we know that
Asuka's
she was
already
a
in the
big
game
deal.
too.
Asuka was a huge deal. Like everyone likes Asuka. I think I'm like the only person who doesn't like Asuka. Obero was a big deal, and she freaking came out and was just a hot steamy turd. She was so bad. A lot of people like Koronai. A lot of people like freaking Astaroth. From what I've heard, people don't have anything against her. But again, Astaroth isn't as hype as like Ingrid, and
Yeah, like
Ingrid
Ingrid has
sucks.
yeah, because Ingrid has the hype, but then you look at Astra, she comes out and like she's like okay to good basically, and like if you invest to her, she's like fucking stupid ass broken. I'm like, okay, this is some dumb shit right here.
And Noah was an original character, so she doesn't really count. Same for Emily and Sue. Like they're original to AT, so they don't really come with any hype from the outside. They're just, oh, this is a new timing in for this game. But like characters like Ingrid come from somewhere. Like she has a long history of fans. Another character who's gonna be hype is freaking what's her name?
Mass
The
timing in.
no, oh yeah, the Mass Taimanin. But I don't know if they're just gonna make that a skin for Obero and not make her a character herself, even though they're different people in the lore. We'd have to just wait and see. But no, that other character, the freaking one, the chick with the machine legs,
One
that
that Tokiko's outfit has, I
yeah,
think,
the
no?
Tokyo. I can't remember her name for some reason. I feel like an asshole. It's something Fuma, but I don't remember because there's so many Fumas.
Aika, I think. or
Saika, yeah, that's it. Saika Fuma. Yeah, her. She has hype. People really want to see her, but again, if she comes out and she's booty, then there's nothing we could do. Like, it'll kill the hype instantly once people see she's bad.
but
That's it.
that's
Yeah, we kind of rambled on about this last question, but it's a good question. I'd love to see some freaking collabs.
well, the artist part is like, yeah, that would be cool if they like oh people like actually took the time and drew like AT art and stuff like that. Honestly, that would be pretty cool. Like to mention artists, like to get their name out there too. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's
that would be
pretty.
cool. It would be cool if they recognize the community overall, like the contributions like YouTubers make or like artists and fans. But for now, it seems like they kind of just keep to themselves and they do their own thing, which is also fine, but they still have to listen to feedback. And these devs coming is like a big deal because maybe they'll actually listen to what we have to say instead of, oh, who knows? It could just be like a 30-minute question thing where they just like BS us and give us all half-ass answers. We'll just have to wait and see. But hopefully they do listen, take some stuff to heart, and make the game improve. Because this game, like I said, it still has potential. They just need to tap into it. I think that's a good
Yeah,
place
and
to end it. Oh, sorry, go on.
yeah, and the game, yeah, like one last thing I'll probably say, the game has so much potential. It would be really sad to see the game one day this game just shuts down.
Yeah, it
And
would.
I generally don't want to see this game getting shut down, but honestly, it really depends on Grimmery themselves, basically.
This game shut down, I'd have a stroke after all the money I put into Kirara's smelly armpits. I'd
I
literally
don't
have
think
a
it's just
stroke.
you. I think everyone would, whoever they invest their money into their waifu.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, that's a good way to end it. Thanks again, Professor JC. These questions slap. Like, they're all good. They're all civil. Like, there's no toxicity in any of the questions. It's just comes from the point of view of someone trying to figure some shit out. And I like them. Like, they don't press too hard, but they ask the stuff that people want to know. So again, thanks for making the list and sharing it with me. And yeah, I already showed you guys the video in the beginning of me talking about this. If you're interested in getting some questions answered, and you have your own questions, or if you want to prevent any of the or prevent, if you want to present any of the questions we shared today, definitely go fill out that form and ask them what's up. We'll see if we actually get some answers. And that'll be the video. Thanks if you sat through it, and you know, food for thought. Like, this is one of those videos that I hope will leave you thinking, yeah, what am I going to ask them? What am I going to try to figure out? Because I've been playing this game for however long, and I want to know, like, what's going on. And hopefully, it gets your minds going and you guys come up with something that maybe wasn't presented here, too. So, with that, you guys take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you, Tack, for coming on and BSing with me.
Yeah, no problem.
And yeah, later, guys. Bye bye.